Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Street Legal. This is Bob Macedonio, your host. I'm here every Thursday night at 6 p.m. on 103.9 LI News Radio. My firm name, Macedonio and Duncan. We are located at 126 Carlton Avenue, Islip Terrace, 631-582-3232. And I am here with my co-host, Link.
What's going on, everybody? Interesting show today. I'm glad to be here with y'all. I'm glad y'all here with us.
Yeah, we have an interesting show. You know, as you are aware or will become aware, that Suffolk County has started using what they call body cams on the police officers, and they first started it in the 7th precinct. I think it's going to be going countywide, relatively short period of time. Right. So, what we're going to do is discuss the pros, the cons, and how that's going to affect how it's going to affect the interaction of the police and the public on different, traffic stops, to search warrants, to any kind of police interaction. Because, there's a big disparity on how the public perceives policing. In the minority communities, right. And this is the statistics, only 31% of people in minority communities, Link,
right.
report that their police in their community do a good job and are held accountable when it comes to their misconducts. And by contrast, in the white neighborhoods, 75% of the people believe that police do a good job. So a lot of that has to do with the police interaction when they first come upon a scene, whether it's a traffic stop, when you're at your house, or any kind of interaction, walking down the street. You well-known, you grew up in Wyandanch. Describe some of what the police interaction's been from the time you're 12, 13, 14 years old, what you've seen and what you've also witnessed other people.
Even from my own experience, right? Because I don't like to bring other people into it.
No, I'm not bringing other people into it, but you've actually witnessed police interaction with other people.
Yeah. I've had to get involved in I'm OGAs, obstruction of government administration, whatever it was. A couple of those I caught. For just for getting involved because the police are overdoing what their job is supposed to be. And because they know that their word will be believed over any defendant or any witness that's coming from an area that they're meant to police. Without the use of body cams, you would just be messed up. Like I went through, I got thrown over the police car. Off the bike.
Police car.
Yeah, I got thrown over a police car.
How old were you when that happened?
Probably just about to be 15. Wasn't even 15 yet. About to be 15. I mean, I think that the use of body cams and my experience with police before there were any body cams, before there was any footage, because for a long time, you remember all we had was the Rodney King thing to even base what a police interaction looks like. Or we had
and thank God that was captured on cell phone camera,
right?
Or else that whole never would have existed.
But the thing was, they opened the door for that camera, being able to put a camera on a police officer when they started to monetize the show like Bad Boys.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good show. Right. But that did open the door for us to now say, okay, well, maybe we should look into more of what police is doing. So now we get to see everything police are doing.
And there was a lot of hesitancy across the country and a lot of police departments to bring that in because
why would that be?
Well, we've all heard of it, the blue wall of silence. And we talked about this before, Link. When a person gets arrested or an individual gets brought down to the police station, what's the first thing that cop wants them to do?
Right.
Tell on somebody.
I want you to rat on somebody.
Hey, what do you know? Who's doing this? Who's doing that?
Right.
But meanwhile, if a cop gets in trouble, what's the first thing you hear? Shut up,
blue wall of silence. They don't tell on each other, all of that.
Okay, but they want
everybody else to crack.
Okay.
But let me see.
And that's even if a cop, you get multiple police officers respond to a scene, and no one's here bashing cops because we believe there are many, many, many good cops.
Right.
But just like in any profession, there's always one bad apple. But the other police officers that were there may have been hesitant to get involved, say something, or go back to the George Floyd incident.
Right.
Other cops stood around and watched this man,
die for 9 minutes. Yeah,
they didn't want to interact. So,
but thank God for that though, because I know that sounds like
and that was captured on somebody's cell phone.
Right.
Not
that sounds like a negative, but because of that now we have a law where if police see another police officer doing something and they don't report it, that's a crime for them too.
Correct. So, well, those other officers are being charged criminally.
That's how you break that blue wall of silence down.
So pick up, go ahead. When you have interactions in the minority neighborhoods, what generally?
They do what they like. It's been times when I've been arrested for one thing, got to the precinct, read the report in court before I saw you and was like, what the hell? This don't got nothing to do with what I was locked up for. Yeah. But they're allowed to say anything. They could say you was unruly, that you were being disrespectful and you was fighting them. And I had attempted assault on a police officer and all those stupid charges too. I would never swing on a police officer unless I felt like I had absolute right to do something like that. Like you in my yard, you acting crazy.
Well, you know, big one I see, which I really have a lot of questions about, resisting arrest. Now, when you think of resisting arrest, I mean, you think that's got to be fighting with the cops.
Right.
No, that could mean the police officer telling you, put your hands behind your back, you're under arrest, and you're not putting your hands behind your back.
Right, you're just saying, why? Why am I under arrest?
Correct.
And that could be resisting arrest.
And they grab your arm. You don't want to put your hands behind your arrest because you think you didn't do anything.
Right. And that's another thing too, now they got a way to get around it because you couldn't really charge people with resisting arrest for saying that no more. So now what they say is you're not being arrested, you're being detained. And so they kind of sneakily put you in cuffs now. Yeah, but still, if they're gonna charge you with a crime, they're gonna do that. But
in addition to the body cams, we also have a lot of the police cars equipped with what they call dash cams, which for the traffic stops that will record the incident, record the driving, the reckless driving, and morely put in for DWIs to show how the operator was opening the vehicle. But now you're not only going to have the dash cam,
you're going to have
the body cam, which are going to be installed on each officer's uniform, which I think is it's going to help because
you got to figure like so many police watchdog groups now. That it used to be like maybe like one or two. They would like harass them, YouTubers, and the police would harass them to the point where like they made the show more interesting without even knowing that they was doing that because they was trying to flex their authority.
Well, my friend, we've had people get charged with no part of the crime, no part of anything, recording incidents of police doing it to other people. And the cops don't want back up, and then use that, OGA, obstructing governmental administration, not complying with an officer's thing. They don't want to be recorded.
Right.
And we've had
they don't want to be held accountable for any misconduct that they might employ during their shift, right?
Again, this is not a bash to police show. This is there's
if you're a bad cop, go to hell. It doesn't matter. I'm not apologetic for anything that I'm saying here, only because if you're a bad cop, you're a bad cop, and if my words offend you, it's because you're doing something that puts you into the realm where my words can matter to you. If my words matter to you, then you're the kind of cop I'm talking about. But
we've already discussed on other shows that we already know and discussed how officers commit racial bias in policing.
Yeah.
It's existent. Whether you're black cop, Spanish cop, white cop,
no matter
they're going to act different in a minority neighborhood than they would in a white neighborhood.
Right.
So now
you'll be held accountable and to a higher standard of conduct in a white neighborhood, right? Black people just because
you're not going to be believed.
Right. And we just relieved when you walk away. We're not going after you the way like a white person gonna go down and file a complaint. They're gonna do the most. Black people just so happy like the incident is over and it didn't go any further than what it could have, that we usually don't pursue it. But I'm starting to see nowadays people are becoming more vocal about what cops are doing, and they're going to report it. So honestly, this could work out for cops too.
It could work out for everybody.
It could work out for cops too, yeah.
It could work out bad for my clients because now if there's any question of what crime they committed or whether they had drugs on them and the search of a car, it's going to be recorded.
Not a question no more.
It's not going to be a question where that stuff was found.
Question. You got
you had that quarter key in the middle of your dash. You got a problem.
Yeah, we pulled it out. We opened up the dash and was like, "What's this?" But let's say, all right, you got footage too with. I'm gonna get into a couple of the cases that I've seen like over the last few weeks with police and body cams too. But you got in Ohio, unarmed man was killed in his bed. Did you see that?
In his bed? No, I didn't see that one.
Yeah, that was about 3 days ago. They were doing a raid. It was not even a organized
execution of a search warrant.
It was an arrest warrant. That's what they messed up at. But they executed it like a search warrant. So they ran into his house. They did all of that, like burst open the doors. They usually send a dog first because they got the canine unit.
It was a black man that was killed.
It was a black man. But as soon as they opened the door, before they even gave a command, they shot him. I've never seen nothing like that before in my life. I was like, what was this cop thinking that you don't know that you just caught a murder charge? That's like, this has nothing to do with the execution of any kind of warrant. You executed a man.
Well, here's one statistic that I read.
Right.
Police have a strong expectation of black individuals possessing a deadly weapon. Why? Why is that?
Because a
guy rolls up on straight path. The cop rolls up on straight path. And there's 4 or 5 black guys there. Mm-hmm. His opinion when he rolled up there, somebody's going to have a deadly weapon on him. That's a strong expectation of that.
That's just a cover story for being able to kill you. Like, you got to think about how many cops have been killed in Wyandotte, how many cops have been killed in Bellport, how many cops have been killed in Amityville, how many by a black person shooting at them. That's
barely any.
Barely any, bro. Barely any.
How many cops have been killed in Suffolk? Period.
Right. So because of that, we can't say or make strong affirmations that we gotta expect this from this person or that person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it, but where does that come from? Where does that attitude from a cop come from? That I'm rolling up on black individuals in Wyandotte, and there's a strong expectation that somebody's possessing a deadly weapon. Somebody.
Nah, that's not an actual thought that they have.
Or there's a perceived threat from them.
Nah, they use that to protect themselves. I was scared for my life. You know the role.
This is Street Legal. We're here every Thursday night. We'll be back after a short break. I'm Bob Macedonio with my co-host Link. We'll see you in a few short seconds. Macedonio and Duncan, 126 Carlton Avenue, Islip Terrace.
If you want to stay free,
call B.O.B.
Call B.O.B.
Welcome back. This is Street Legal. Bob Macedonio here every Thursday night, 6 p.m. on 103.9 LI News Radio. My firm name, Macedonio and Duncan, 126 Carlton Avenue, Islip Terrace.
631-582-3232.
32. And I'm back with Link. Link, I'd like you to describe for our audience that are out there listening, driving home right now, a typical
Let's get back
police
into, let's get back into what you said about how they able to say that there's a strong expectation. That
there's a high expectation. There's a high expectation.
How? What supports that, though? What could support that?
What supports that? I think by the number of police interactions and the number of times that they pull over a vehicle, whatever. Let's take the context of the stop out of the question here. Okay. The number of times they pull over that vehicle. Let's take the search out of the issue. How many times when they pull over a vehicle are there's some kind of contraband, whether it be a weapon or narcotics in that vehicle? Overwhelming majority of times. Forget about the search. Forget about the stop. I'm taking the legality out of the picture here.
Right.
And that's what they're basing that upon. Same thing. 5 guys walking down the street in straight path. 5 black guys, in the mid-20s, 30s. Right. There's going to be a strong expectation. Somebody's going to have a weapon on them.
You can't kill a person because they might have a weapon. Because the intent
we're taking that out of the picture. But this is where this is where that thought process comes from because of a history and a pattern, and they've never been held to the constitutional standards of the search and seizure, stop and frisk. Go to the, Rudy Giuliani in the city, the stop and frisk laws put in there.
Yeah.
That prevented a lot of crimes because they were taking a lot of weapons off the street. Albeit the constitutionality of the stop may have been something different, but that's where those numbers come from. If you're getting 10 people, you're stopping 10 people, 8 have a deadly weapon on them, that's a pretty good number.
Stop and frisk didn't produce a lot of results as far as the crimes that it prevented.
It did. It prevented a lot of crimes. It took a lot of weapons off the street.
People was coming outside with no gun because they already knew the stop and frisk was alive. So that what it did was prevent crime in that way. It prevented it so that it was less crime because people was less willing to come out with their hammer on them. You don't want to come out with it and stop and they could throw you on the wall and find it.
But the same thing, if you know every time you pull off whatever you pull down the street in Bellport, you knew you're going to get stopped and you knew they're going to search your car, you're less likely to be carrying contraband in it, right? You're gonna think of moving in a different way.
I don't know, because I was moving like with whatever I needed for the day. I had that with me, so I can't speak to that.
But if you pull out of your driveway, go 100 yards of the road, I'm getting stopped, my car's getting searched. You're less likely to carry that on you
when you know me to stop. So I kept whatever I had in my car because I'm not stopping. But anyway, I'm out of the crime life, and that's not really.
You're out of the crime life. Back in the day when you were hustling.
Right. But I want to say, when you got cops, like I'm watching videos and I'm watching them put their hand over the camera. I'm watching them, their sergeant instructing them to turn their mic off. Now, what I'm about to say now is something I really mean, and I would like to advocate for this in the future. That if what that camera is recording is going to be considered evidence during a case or a trial, then it's evidence. When you hit that mute button, it's evidence.
100%.
When you cover that mic,
100%. 100%.
That is tampering with evidence, which is a felony.
But here's where we're going to be okay because you're going to have multiple officers on the scene.
Yeah.
Not everybody's going to turn off their mic. Not everybody's going to turn off the camera. But there's also
that's not the point. The point
there's
I'm
also
making
some
is
faults with the cameras.
If you do touch that camera outside of turning it on to record this incident,
that's an inference that's going to be held against you.
That should be tampering with evidence, and you should be not only fired but prosecuted.
I don't believe any sergeants or supervisors are going to be instructing officers to turn off those cameras.
Oh yeah, you should watch the video from 2 days ago that I'm telling you was on YouTube when they walked in there and like just shot that man like that. They instructed that everybody's in trouble in that situation,
and they should be.
Yeah, because you should the way it was handled like a gang style ambush. It wasn't even like a police type of. You should have seen. You got to see the footage. They have it on YouTube. It's in Ohio. I believe the young man's name was. Hang on a sec. Let me get his name up. Donovan Lewis.
Donovan Lewis.
Yeah, he was sitting up in bed. They opened the door and just fired. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen, bro.
No movement for trying to reach for a weapon or anything. Nothing like that.
Bro, Bin Laden had more time.
Huh?
Bin Laden had more time than he did.
All right, let's bring local. Let's bring local because we're local. We want to hear what the police interactions like on the streets in the minority neighborhoods in Suffolk County. You have a good intake in that, and you could bring the listeners a little clear picture of what it's like. Because I don't know. Right. I don't know what. I've never had negative policing contact, so I cannot relate to that. Like I told you a long time ago, I can't see through the black man's eyes. You could tell us that.
Right. I think that the use of body cams in places like my community is super necessary because you have to figure most of the defendants that come from where I come from that have to face the court as an institution don't have money like that, right? Their money ain't long enough so that once this cop starts lying, they don't have money to provide resources to keep going till the truth come out. So that video is going to save a lot of people from what it is they would have to face over a cop's lie, because we have to remember this, and this is like I say this with strength. If not for police cameras, they will and have gotten away with murder. They will get away with murder, literally. That is like a literal thing. Bro.
I'm not going to disagree with you on that, because I think it's going to bring a higher level of professionalism to the police work. But on the same token, I have to say that it's going to bring a higher level of cooperation on the part of the person that's getting stopped or confronted by the police. Because I've had clients that the minute a police officer pulls them over, even if it's a valid legal stop, they are AWOL. They are nasty. They're arrogant. They are going back at that cop for no apparent reason, in whether it's a defense mechanism kicking in or it's just their
PTSD. You know, this dude did not pull you over. He's not coming to your car to have a decent conversation with you or to treat you like a human being or to see if you're in any need of assistance. He's coming to see if he can find anything on you that he can take you to jail for. We are hunted.
I'm not gonna disagree with you on that.
We are hunted. We got to keep it.
I'm not gonna disagree with you on that, but hopefully this creates an overall picture where there's better cooperation among the community and the policing, because we've had, the last 50 years have not been good. Right. So we're looking to change all that. Yeah. But again, what I want you to do to the audience, I've asked you 3 times now. You got to answer this question. Describe some of the police interactions. What goes on when a cop comes up to a group of young men standing outside on a the street corner in Wyandanch over by Crown Chicken? Okay.
What they do, they usually pull up. They don't get out of the car too much because if they're outnumbered to that point, I think the cops in CI when I was growing up was a lot braver. They was the bravest cops I see. I think the 3rd precinct. Shout to the 3rd precinct cops when I was a kid. Y'all was crazy. But I want to say in Wyandanch, they stay in their car. The training is different too. Yeah, the training is different too.
What you say the training's different because they go there's department-wide training. I think the training's different in the minority precincts.
The training is different now as opposed to when I was a kid.
Now it is 100%.
So they used to just walk up to you and like almost initiate disrespect to the point where disrespect would have to be given back to them, because you cannot continue to respect somebody who's disrespecting you regardless of what role they play. And after a certain point, you have to look like, if you're playing this role, why are you disrespecting me anyway? So then next you get that conflictive kind of... It starts
off in a combative nature to be right from the beginning, right from the interaction.
And from there, it's like, cops are human beings. And so they got that vindictive nature that we would have if somebody violated us, right?
Yeah.
So many times I would hear a cop even tell me, yeah, I'll see you again. That's like a gang threat, what you making. You're not supposed to tell me that as a cop. Like, I see you again. That's something I would say to somebody when I was like in the streets and I couldn't get them in that moment, right? Like, but you saying that to me as though like your level of authority is almost criminal the way you treat it. You know what I mean? Like, there's no difference between the police, the way they would handle things on the street and the way I handle things on the street. But these cameras, they gonna hold them to a level of accountability.
But how much of it is brought upon the person themselves? Because I've seen and witnessed some of my clients. Right. The minute the cop approaches them, and the cop could be doing everything perfect, professional, that person, because we call PTSD, whatever you want to call it, is going right at that cop. F you, get away from me. You're not searching my car. I'm not stepping out of the car. I've heard a lot of these calls that come through because they often call me while there's interactions going on.
Me too.
And I'm telling them,
I'll call you.
Please calm down. Please relax. Let me speak to the officer. You don't need to be that way. So a lot of times my client is bringing that upon themselves. So how much is it?
I want to say this. If your client does suffer PTSD from current having police contact before then, you kind of have to understand that too, because but
it doesn't help the situation. It doesn't help the situation.
At that point, people just want to like not be feeling so pressed, because like there's because it might not sound like it on the phone,
but like the first thing the cop's thinking, what's this guy hiding? What's he got in there? Why is he acting this way?
Because how would you act if somebody came up to you with bad intentions? Listen to me. If you're a black man here in America, if the police approach you, they have bad intentions.
That's what we need to drop. When the police come up to me,
they got to change that.
When the police come up to me, or they pull.
If you black out there and you're a listener, that's not on you to change anything.
No. The whole impression. When the police pull over my vehicle, approach my vehicle, I'm not assuming it's bad intentions. You are assuming it's bad intentions.
Immediately.
So even if you're speeding,
right.
It's bad intention when that cop comes up to your car.
Any contact, if you're a black man with police, it can go bad. It can go bad.
I love you, but I can't agree with that. That does that.
Watch the news.
Not every interaction is bad intentions. Not every interaction. The police have a job to do. Not every interaction is bad intentions.
I said what goes on in your mind.
We are Street Legal. We'll be back in a few short minutes. We're going to pick up this topic. This is Bob Macedonio. We're here every Thursday night, 103.9 LI News Radio. Macedonio and Duncan, 126 Carlton Avenue, Islip Terrace, 631-582.
3232.
Remember, you want to stay free?
Call BOB.
And we are back. This is Bob Macedonio with Street Legal. I'm here every Thursday night, 103.9 LI News Radio. I'm here with my co-host, Link. Link, I want to pick up on what you said right before the break. I know you assume every police interaction with the minority is bad intentions.
Yeah, it's like you take a war vet on the 4th of July, they having a harder time with the fireworks than everybody else is having.
Okay, I got to disagree because...
Yeah. Don't worry. I fully want to make everybody understand what I'm saying. No, go ahead. I want...
Okay. There's domestic violence going on in a home. Mm-hmm. In a minority community.
Right.
The wife or the mother or the female, whoever it may be, dials 911. So the police are going to respond to that scene.
Right.
Okay. Why is that bad intention?
Well, I don't think that having the police called on you in response to a crime you're committing is bad intentions. They come in to respond to a crime you're committing, but that's not what we're talking about right now.
But you said every police interaction in a minority community, the cops are approaching with bad intentions. That's a bold statement.
Yeah, and that's how I feel. But when you were saying that, I thought you meant like traffic stops. I didn't know you meant like they're being called to the house.
You're driving down the road. You got your nice car, and you're doing 80 miles an hour in a 30 mile an hour zone.
No more trick shots. That's a trick shot. What you're doing?
80 miles an hour in a 30 mile an hour zone. The cop's going to pull you over.
Right.
He sees that car go by. When it's going by 80 miles an hour, he doesn't know black, white, Spanish. He doesn't care if the green person.
That's provocation. Okay. That's different. You provoke that officer to come.
That's what I see. But you made a statement. Every police interaction with a minority is bad intentions.
Right.
So you're saying you pull you over
during the commission of a crime, not during the like what I'm saying to you is if I'm just chilling.
So
right. I don't want what I'm saying taken out of context by you or anybody else. That's why I want to be very clear to the listeners.
Be clear it is.
Yeah. If you're minding your business and a cop approaches you, immediately in your mind, you're thinking bad intentions. This officer has bad intentions for me.
And that's based upon what? Prior interactions?
There's no black man you're going to ask in America that's going to disagree with what I just said. If you just minding your business and a cop walk up to you, in your brain, you think he got bad intentions because that's a national PTSD right there.
That's
you know why? Because they drive it into our faces every day. They put on the news, they keep showing black people being gunned down, and they never show white people being gunned down on TV. Not sure if you noticed, but they show black people being gunned down on TV in record numbers. I've never seen a white man.
But by record numbers, the black guys are being shot down by other black guys, though.
Who cares? The black guys that shoot other black guys ain't assigned to protect lives. So what you're saying is true, but it's irrelevant because the black guys that's killing black guys is criminals. The cops are supposed to be the opposite of that.
But let me ask you a question.
That's two different things.
Why? Yeah. So crime, obviously, the statistics of crime are higher in minority neighborhoods.
Right.
Is it because there's more crime or more over-policing?
I think it's a combination of both, right? I don't think over-policing is an actual thing that we can say because if the crime does support the amount of police that's necessary, then we can't say over-policing. But I will say that crime and policing are politicized. It's not it's not just judicial. It's so political now that they don't mind taking you to jail for any and everything.
But here's what, Link.
Right.
You take a white middle-class neighborhood and you got 10, 20 to 25-year-olds hanging out in the park.
Right.
Statistically speaking, how many of those guys are going to have a deadly weapon on them?
A middle-class neighborhood?
White middle-class neighborhood.
Maybe 3 or 4. Maybe have a knife or something. Maybe have a knife.
Okay. Now take that same number and go to a minority neighborhood and the same age group and hanging out in a park and the police come up to that thing. There's a greater likelihood that somebody's going to have a deadly weapon on them than there is in a white neighborhood. Correct?
Well, I don't know that. I don't know that to be true because this what my experience is this, right? When things go bad, people usually go grab their weapon. They don't usually have their weapon on them. So whether their weapon is a block away, whether it's under a dumpster 20 feet away, wherever it is, they don't.
Woods, under the shingles, whatever.
Right. So that statement almost loses any merit just in the fact that they don't have their weapons on them. People don't just have guns on them all the time.
We had a show one, a while back, Lincoln, you and I, we had a call in or write in on one of the comments, hey, Bob, why don't you spend the night in the dance and you'll be carrying a weapon too?
Yeah.
Okay. So is that the mentality that if you spend the night in Wyandanch, you got to be carrying a weapon?
Well, you're going to be one of the few people who don't have one. I don't know if that's the position you want to take. Like, I wouldn't want to be one of the people who don't have a weapon, knowing that the majority of the people probably have one. Yeah.
But why? Why are the majority of people carrying weapons? That's the question.
Because of the environment, how dangerous it can turn in the blink of an eye, how vulnerable you be in that situation that got volatile.
Isn't there some kind of community responsibility that, hey, this is our community. Why are we letting this go on in our own community? Why do the majority of the people have to carry a weapon to feel safe in our own backyard?
And
Why?
Who's saying this to the weapon carriers? Who's going to say this in the community?
But there has to be some voice in the community that stand up and say enough's enough. Like, why are we living like this? Why is this our rate? Why do I have to go out of my house?
Because the
I got to
argument
carry
so
a gun.
strong.
Why?
It's the same thing as the Second Amendment argument, the right to bear arms. Right? I'm explaining to you why it's the same. It's the same because you have some people that'll be like, nah, you're right. We need to get these guns out of here. But then you have some people that's like, I'm not going to get rid of my gun knowing that everybody else ain't get rid of theirs. Right?
Yeah.
And so now, because it puts you at odds of being vulnerable. Nobody wants to be the vulnerable one in any situation. Right? So to me, it's the same thing.
But it's got to start somewhere. So I think the body cams are going to come up, hopefully help with the policing and the minority communities a lot to be better accountability for the interactions, to stop this whole PTSD attitude that the police, the minute they get up to a black man, it's bad intentions. So we need to start it somewhere.
Right. I don't know if that'll ever change because that's got to be an effort made by the police.
It's got to be made for.
I'm telling you, if police approach a black man who's minding his business, that the black man thinks that the police officer has bad intentions.
But it's got to be an effort made by everybody. It has to be an effort made by the black man also, not to walk out of the house with the weapon on.
I'm saying, we talking about that's not the case, right? We talking about you just chilling, minding your business, and police come to you.
Okay, but you're just chilling, minding your business, holding an illegal weapon. You're committing a crime.
Where are you getting that from?
Well, because you said 8 out of 10 people are going to have a weapon on them.
That's not what I said.
You said a majority of them are going to have weapons. You don't leave your house.
I said none of them are going to have a weapon on them. They're going to have a weapon within close proximity, right? Because we've all known like cops jump out.
Okay, what about driving a car? Is there bound to be a weapon in that car somewhere? In the minority neighborhoods?
No, I don't know. I think that there's a lot of cases where people are going to be driving with them, but it can't be assumed that everybody has one because
not everybody, but there'll be some kind of weapon in that car.
No, I disagree with that.
You just said have it close to you. So this is the problem the police face because there's a higher degree.
The problem police face is that they weren't hired to make sure black people were safe. That's the problem police have.
They're hired to make sure everybody's safe.
No, they was hired for you. They was hired for people like you. They was hired
to
protect people like you from the monstrous image that they made of people like me. That's why they got hired. They are. Because police officers come from the word overseer, which was the plantation role that they was assigned to make sure that these blacks never got out of control of this plantation. We've been through all.
We're not going to get back to the whole slavery. This has nothing to do with slavery.
Well, I just don't want false statements put out there because this really does affect my people. So I like to keep the lines kind of clear about truth, reality, and what could be known as just like conjecture. I want it clear. I want that to be cleared up. That's it.
No, we get it cleared up. But how much of responsibility is on the community itself to take? Why are we leaving our houses with a weapon nearby, with a weapon on me, with a weapon in the car? Why?
I'm not sure if the listeners are hearing this, okay? But black people do not leave their homes with weapons on them. Please do not think that black people leave their homes automatically with weapons on them. That is not what happens.
So why are the police thinking that, though? Why do the police have...
Oh, they don't.
Overwhelming majority of police officers say they expect strong expectations of black individuals possessing a deadly weapon. Why?
Can you read that again?
Police have strong expectations of black individuals possessing a deadly weapon or impose a perceived threat.
Keep reading to show us what it's based on, what they based that on. We just feel like that.
This is statistics.
Yo, bro, please. That's not a statistic.
It's based upon experience. It's based upon interactions.
It's a feeling, bro. It's a feeling. Read it again.
Where's that feeling come from?
A coward.
It comes from the same thing. It comes from the same thing your PTSD comes from interactions. No. Listen, we talking about something that's like coming from literally nowhere, except what this guy's saying he feels like. Now, you're telling me you're going to read statistics. That's not a statistic. That is a statistic.
A feeling is not a statistic, bro.
Overwhelming majority, they have a strong expectation that somebody's going to have a weapon or a deadly weapon on them. Why?
If you're an officer and y'all like to kill black people, wouldn't you make that statement?
They don't, but no one likes to kill anybody. That's a bold statement. Nobody likes to kill anybody. Like, come on.
Wow.
You're going to say cops go on the job.
I wish I had grown up in the Hamptons and all that too, and I could think like that.
You think the cops go on the job thinking I like to kill black people?
I don't know. Actually, Dad, he was a cop.
He didn't kill nobody. He never killed anybody.
I bet his friends did.
No one likes to kill anybody.
Yes, they do.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
I disagree.
You know what cops look at it as? A free body, but it ain't a free body no more. Now they go to jail.
Humans are humans. Yeah. I don't think anybody looks at killing anybody like that. I got to disagree with you.
No, you're right.
Humans are human.
No, mass shooters don't exist. You're right. But no one likes killing anybody.
Well, those are guys not being hired by the police department.
Yeah, but the ones who are being hired by the police department just as dangerous.
All right, so we'll be back. We had a little topic tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We don't. Any callers want to call in, but we're here to take your crime. But we're street legal every Thursday night, 103.9 LI News Radio. This is Bob Macedonio with my co-host Link, and we actually do get along.
Absolutely.
Contrary to what you may think.
631-582-3232.
You want to stay free?
Call BOB.
You got it. This is Street Legal. We're back here with this is Bob Macedonio every Thursday night, 103.9 LI News Radio. My firm name, Macedonio and Duncan, 126 Carlton Avenue, Isoip Terrace, 631-582-3232. And I'm here, of course, with my co-host, Link. And you want to stay free?
Call B.O.B.
Call B.O.B.
All right.
Let's pick up where we were, Link. Go ahead.
All right. I got...
You got to throw some statistics at me now?
No. I'm just going to give some stories.
I'm going to disagree with you and disagree with you. I do not believe there are cops that go on this job with the intention of killing black people. I just don't believe that exists.
All right, let me ask you this. How many videos have you seen where the black dude is displayed that he does not have a weapon, he was killed anyway?
No, we've seen him.
No, I'm asking you.
Too many. Too many.
So how could you say that?
I don't think the mentality exists that someone goes on the job to kill anybody. I just don't.
That's like saying you don't put on your suit because you're going into a professional environment. Listen, if you can watch it happen, if you can watch police kill somebody who's completely unarmed and doesn't pose a threat, how could you think he did not enjoy to do that? What did he do it for then? Why he do it?
That's a sociopath then. I don't think that, just...
All right, so you admit that they exist, you just want to put a different title on it.
I don't think cops go on the job for the purpose of killing black people. That's the statement you said.
Here's what I've noticed too. As cops get closer to retirement age, and if they haven't been able to like kill one, they get a little desperate.
Link, come on.
They get a little desperate and kill one anyway. I'm trying to tell you, that's how they end up going to jail.
You brought up the cops. How many cops got killed in minority communities? How many in Suffolk County in the history of this police department, 60-something years that we started in the early 60s, how many cops have killed black people?
Oh my God! Can I say their names?
No,
they're right in the third precinct. I say that. I don't want to cause no problems with your law office, but I say their names. They killed black people right in the third precinct. I'm not lying. You know that. You know I'm not lying. It's a bunch of.
But you think they went on the job for the purpose of killing a black person?
I think that it provided them a certain degree of I want to say of safety to do it. They could do it without the consequence being so severe.
I'd like to hope we have a little better, training and
I would have loved to hope that
of our
too.
Offices because I think that.
But check it out.
So wait. With that theory, you think that there are judges that become judges to send black people to jail? Just for the sole purpose? Let me see how much time I can give black people?
Yeah. Did you remember McInerney's promise?
You want to give a million years out, right?
Well, yeah. Hello. So that kind of answers that question, right? So
wait. I got to get this clear. We have Link, and like I said, we're friends. He thinks cops go on the job to kill black people. Judges go on the bench to sentence black people to jail.
Right.
I'm hoping we're way past that in this country.
I also believe cops go on the job because they come home from the military, they have training, and they make almost ideal people to be like moral civil servants, right? So I do think there's plenty of good cops out there.
But there are tons of minorities in the military.
Right. Yeah. All right.
So they also become police officers.
Right.
So you think that the minority cop that becomes a police officer...
I'm talking about white cops.
Okay,
I'm talking about white cops. White cops will kill a black man without any regard. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, what about the black cops that kill black men?
In most cases that I've seen,
it's happened.
I don't want to say justified, but it was almost justifiable. Like I seen a tape the other day where a black cop like damn near knocked a black girl down. I mean, he knocked her down, damn near knocked her out. She probably was about 16, 17.
Yeah.
But the way she came flailing with him with punches, you know better than that in America to do that, right? So I have to hold her accountable. And when she do wake up, she's supposed to be charged with assaulting an officer because you cannot just go and because your boyfriend getting locked up decide you're going to wild on this officer like
correct.
Your boyfriend having an altercation with one of his oppositions. This is not that. So I've seen a lot of justifiable police action from black officers.
Wait, Link. What was that word you used?
Justifiable.
So you think there's some justifiable police interactions in minority communities?
Yes.
Because you made a statement earlier that any police interaction in the minority community is bad intentions.
Anytime you're minding your business, I'm going to say it again. Anytime you're minding your business and you're approached by a police officer, if you're a black man in your mind, you're thinking this guy has bad intentions. I want to be clear about if I'm minding my business.
Like, how many times people hanging out in the minority communities on the street corners are just minding their business?
All day long. I was one of them.
Come on.
Just minding our business.
Someone's there doing something.
We was out there just minding our business.
Like someone's out there doing something.
We want some Crown Fried Chicken, man. That's what we wanted, was some Crown Fried Chicken.
That's it?
That's it.
Just get your chicken and go home.
I want to eat it here in the parking lot like the white boys do in Deer Park.
The white boys eat chicken in the parking lot in Deer Park?
They're right there. Wherever they at hanging out.
The problem with that is those are white boys that want to be black boys. They're not white boys.
Those
I don't eat chicken.
They don't get bothered. I know that. They don't get bothered.
The cops, the cops come down on them just as much.
The cops go over there and be like, "Hey, Billy, how's your dad?"
I doubt that.
Yes, they do.
I represent a lot of those guys that come to me for the same interactions.
Not from Deer Park. Not from Deer Park.
Yes, I do.
Nah, Deer Park, you don't get in trouble out there. All right, so we got...
here's the other thing. We're talking about body cams, get a little talk, but body cams are also going to help with the complaints for...
Right. Let me tell you a couple things we got here. We got a Philly cop right, by the name of Eric Rutch.
Okay.
Who 3 days ago was convicted of manslaughter for a 2017 shooting of Dennis Plowden. You remember that case?
Yeah.
All right. Well, had it not been for the use of a body cam, pretty much this guy Eric Rutch would have got away with that, right? Because his report didn't. His report didn't.
Would have got away with it.
Well, his report was written in the way that the body cam was the complete and total. His report was a lie from what we were seeing. If you was to read his report while watching the body cam, you would be looking at him like, "Are you insane?" Because there was the story and the incident was so different. So then now you got it, like, again, if not for that footage, he would have got away with that. And you got Donovan Lewis, again, the guy who was killed in bed. They're expecting that cop to be brought up on charges because
and he should be.
Yeah, he's going to be brought up on charges. Yo, bro, if you just seen the amount of time from the time the door opened to the time he fired a shot, it was like, I don't even know what to call this. I've never seen nothing like that.
Cops got PTSD from interactions.
I think so too. You know, but he wasn't.
Like, how many can a cop get PTSD from having so many negative or bad interactions in minority communities?
Yep, they can, because they're a human being, and anything that can happen to me from any kind of standpoint that would be like clinically my sanity being on put to the test can happen to him too.
How many times have you witnessed cops in minority communities when the cop is getting attacked, cop getting verbally assaulted, cop getting thrown at, cops getting beat at, cops making an arrest on one person, which is a valid arrest, and you got 3, 4, 5 other people hitting that cop, trying to grab the person? How many times have you seen that?
I haven't seen it recently, but I think in the 90s, it was a much higher incident of that, because I used to see people going at it with the police. You try to arrest my man and all that, we just going to turn it up.
But that creates an atmosphere like that doesn't happen in the white middle-class neighborhoods. That doesn't happen.
I don't know that to be the truth. I don't know. People don't turn up on cops in white middle-class neighborhoods?
I very, very rarely see it, and I represent,
You ever watch Cops?
I've watched Cops, yeah.
You ain't never seen those white boys turning up?
I grew up with Cops. I watched Cops.
Those white boys are turning up on Cops. In fact, I want to say this. They get a little crazier than the black dudes get, because I think that there's a certain function of a white boy where he get crazy, like crash a can of beer on his forehead and be like, "You want some of me?" That's the type of, I don't want no parts of people when they get like that. So I think that that element of black interaction with police and cameras is discouraging.
I think it's going to help all around. We're going to have fewer complaints of use of force by cops, because now it's easier. It's also flip it around. Right. The cop. There's so many complaints come in that are unfounded. IAB, the cop, he did this, he did that, he did this, she did this, she did that. Now with the cameras, you're going to see that interaction. So there's going to be less reports of use of force by the cops. Yeah. Which is good. It's good. It's going to be good.
It's going to be less resistant to arrest charges. The thing is this: as soon as we get these cameras in, I want to revisit these statistics in a year. Okay,
but the other thing,
like all these resistant arrest charges that come into your office, right?
Link, the other thing we got to realize is the camera. It's one camera. They're not going to ever see what the cops' eyes are seeing all around them. So that camera's going to catch one view, not going to catch the whole.
That's better than what we had. We had only his word. We had his word last time.
You had his word last time, but we're going to have one view. That cop is seeing a lot of things going around. There's a lot of times
he got to prove that. Like we had to prove what he was saying.
Going on in front of him, going on the side of him. So the camera's going to help, but you still got to take that cop's judgment. And maybe we need better training. Maybe we need to have more things going on where the cops don't have that initial interaction that's assumed to be bad interaction.
Right.
Looked at.
If police came into your neighborhood and all they did was snatch out the males between the ages of 16 and 35 all day long, that's all they did in your neighborhood all day long, right? Whether the charges are actual, whether they're fabricated, whether the cop said something to the dude and he became agitated and it escalated, whatever it is, if this all you seen, if a cop approached you and you just chilling, what's gonna go through your mind?
Yeah,
I'm next.
I'm going to talk to him. Hey, how are you? How's your day? But it's not going to approach me negatively.
Right, and you're gonna be on Instagram later with that cop in your face too, looking crazy.
When the cop drives down my block, I wave. When the cop drives down my block, I wave. Cop drives on your block, you don't wave.
Nah, I give him a hand gesture though, like you do.
When you give a hand gesture, that's the old thing.
Give him a hand gesture.
This is Street Legal. We are here every Thursday night, 103.9 LI News Radio. I'm Bob Macedonio. My firm name, Macedonio and Duncan, 126 Carlton Avenue, Islip Terrace, 631-582-3232. And I'm here with my co-host Link. We got a little difference of opinion, but we do get along. And, never going to see it through a black man's eyes, never going to see it through a white man's eyes. But we're going to try to bring the communities together, and hopefully we get better policing, better community interactions, better communities coming together in this island. And again, Street Legal, this is where we bring the law and the streets collide. Every Thursday night, 103.9. And remember, you want to stay free?
Call BOB.
We'll see you next week. Thank you.